things are finally like slowing down in life for me to where I can get back on my YouTube grind, because I know I've slipped quite a bit, but you know, just the way life is right now. Yeah, I had to go to Oregon because my cousin's just not doing very well, and
Sorry to hear.
yeah, it's just life. It, like, seems like everything just hits all at once, you know. Like with all the trips to the hospital, you know, with my wife being pregnant, we acquired like quite a lot of hospital bills, you know. So it's just like,
Don't you have insurance to cover? Don't you have insurance to cover?
yeah, but it's still just,
Like you still got a lot of out of pocket.
yeah, deductible for the year I think is like 4 G's.
Uh, Especially today with the freaking everything costs so much today. The prices of everything are going up. The money's getting tougher and tougher.
Yeah, prices, everything go up except your pay.
Yeah, yeah. I tell I started to see some uh, not so filled shelves in these stores. And some of this, like I was just in ShopRite today. I had to get my frozen strawberries. Walmart's been out for like past 3-4 weeks. So I go to ShopRite. I go in there,
You know,
and they have one size of the strawberries taking up 3-4 aisles because they don't want to show empty space. So they're moving out the spreading out the merchandise so it doesn't have the appearance of being empty shelves.
so part of the problem is because I actually replenish and buy for the store I work at, and right now our distribution company doesn't have enough people at the warehouse to fulfill our orders, so they pick a few days out of the week where they give us like 50 to 60% of our load, and so that's one of the reasons, at least on our end, why we can't keep the shelves as full as usual.
Okay, stupid question. At one time, there were enough people in the warehouse to keep the orders up and keep the shelves full. Why aren't they the ones? If they're not there, what are they doing to make money? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know what people are doing right now. It's a really weird conundrum we're in as a country. Um,
Yeah,
and
it's insanity.
it really is, man. I mean, I thought a dollar ago gas prices were, you know, as high as they should ever be in a bad scenario, and here they are. They're still going up.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like, okay, fucking someone, Mr. President, needs to fucking wave his wand and do as an executive order, you know, maybe nationalize the fucking oil so we're not getting ripped off by these companies, and stop exporting out of our fucking country.
well, we're not. The problem is we should be. Uh, we have the resources here. We're not using them. We cut them off. We're not using our own resources. Just before the 2020 election, gas at making me jealous over there. Gas at my place. Uh, I don't remember if it was as low as 191, but it was at least as low as 193. And now we're at just pennies under 5.
Dude, oh, that's where you're at?
Where I'm at. For 40 is the new 15. You got $40 worth of gas. That was $15 worth of gas 2 years ago. 40 is the new 15. So
Yeah,
that's what's going. That's what's going on.
yeah, right.
Listen,
Right,
as
right
a, as
now,
a,
we're in Reno. We're at $6 a gallon, and they just fucking released this thing in the news saying they're gonna raise it another $1.80 something because of something they approved in 2008 to improve the roads. It's like, okay, yeah, you approved that in 2008, but maybe you should postpone that right now.
holy shit!
I
I
know.
I was predicting close to 6 here by the mid or end of the summer. But I mean, that's a lot of fucking money, man. And listen, as an old man, let me give you some advice. Don't get old. A fucking injury, you get a pain, it never fucking goes away. I missed my last leg workout last Thursday. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it this time. Started
Damn.
off, I'm walking, and all of a sudden my freaking hamstring. Oh fuck! It felt
Again,
like
huh?
I pulled a muscle. So now I'm out. I have to be moving around while I'm working. The way I'm walking, you're making adjustments. Now my fucking groin, now the hamstring is starting to ease up. And now I got a massive freaking pain in my groin. I was going through all the other workouts. I was doing a slow walk on the treadmill, but legs were totally out. Then it goes to the fucking groin. Then because I alter my walk because of that, gets back to my freaking hamstring. Then shoots up to the back,
Ah.
but it never goes away. When you reach a certain age, the pains never will go away. They just shift to another part of the body.
You know, they got that saying, same shit, different day. Kind of reminds
Yeah,
me of like same pain, different area.
yeah, it's like, and it's not fun sometimes. Hey, are you up to date on the RX muscle?
I watched a couple episodes yesterday. They may have been a little old. Which one are you referring to?
The last after hours. They had the guy on. You remember?
Refresh my.
Rich. I don't know if he goes by Rico or Richard. I think his last name is Rodriguez. I remember a while back when this went down, he was involved with the Iron Addicts gym, and he started doing. I guess you could call it. Like they have all these wellness clinics now where you can get you got a prescription and you get your stuff.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but it was he was doing all this shit in the open online. Uh, he was, I think, he was putting it out as one of these wellness clinics, and but they were also prescribing Trembolone. Trembolone is strictly a veterinary product, but he was doing all this in the open. And I remember watching the show a while back, and Dave was even talking about it, saying how freaking crazy this guy is to be doing this. He's going to go down. So he was eventually went down. He just got out of prison. They had him on the show, and he was the basic, practically the whole show revolved about him and his story. But it revealed some things that he has some big. He was involved with some really big names, pro wrestling, acting. You mentioned Roman Reigns and what's his name? Mark Wahlberg.
What?
Yeah, but he also obviously uh, Flex both Flex Wheeler and Kevin Levrone were among big name people that were receiving a paycheck from him.
No, I didn't. I didn't see
It
this
was
episode.
uh, they were they were using their images, and I think they were just making like I don't know to what degree and what was said, or they were just making shout outs on their Instagrams, uh, naming this company, and people go to the website, but it was totally it was from what I understand, it was totally illegal. But now we had Flex Wheeler, Kevin Levrone, and he didn't mention some other names, but. Uh, some high profile people in the bodybuilding world, and he also had some not so kind words about Flex Wheeler. Uh, I think
Yeah.
I think scumbag was one of the words that were that we that we used in describing Flex Wheeler.
So I know someone in the supplement industry who did business with Flex too, and I won't say his name, but they did some business with like pro hormones and stuff like back before it was regulated, right? And all I know, he didn't go into details, but all I know is he said that Flex was shady about something. I think it was with money up front or borrowing product and paying money back, something like that. I don't know, but all I know is he said it was shady. I was like, oh wow, interesting.
According to what this guy said, also Flex is apparently involved with either a regular wellness clinic or somebody else that's doing something similar to this guy. He tried to find out something with the process. They were able to get, and it's legitimate. It's not just labeled. It's the real deal. They were able to get a 500 milligram uh, dose of testosterone into a CC.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean that's big. So Flex was going. I don't. I'd have to go back and listen to it again. But Flex was going behind his back, going to someone, trying to find out how to do this. And then when then he found out what he was doing, this Rico or Richard found out what he was doing, and he confronted him. And I don't know, but it's I'm sure we're gonna hear more about it soon. Now that it's been outed, talked about.
So who's responsible for everything? Who's in trouble and who's not? Are they all like is Levrone and everyone not in trouble for anything or what?
Obviously, this guy went down. He just did a 6 year stint. I think it was 5 or 6 years. And according to what he said, he could have avoided it, but he would have taken down other people. And he also made some kind of arrangement so there was nothing brought up against his wife at the time.
Wow.
Full brunt of it. But it's believed that the feds talked to certain people and gotten some more than likely Kevin Levrone and Flex Wheeler were approached and like, if you give us, you don't want, they have their reputation. Not only the reputation, they don't want to go to jail either. They got a lot more to lose being who they are, and it's believed that they were cooperating in one form or another. Because no, I mean, at a legal standpoint, I think they would be considered complicit with illegal activity because they're receiving funds.
That's
They're, they're promoting it in some form.
Well,
So I would imagine that there's some legal liability on their part.
yeah, you would think so. But maybe homie took it for everybody and went down and like you said, he didn't want to like maybe he took one for the team.
He seems to think that that there were people that stabbed him in the back, and he thinks that uh, Kevin and Flex were two people that made some sort of arrangements
Oh no.
or deals, whatever you want, call it, with the feds. So I don't know, but it's just I knew about this guy. I knew about the whole operation he had going. I remember when when it went down, when he was arrested, and when he went to jail. But we didn't know that the extent of who was involved with it, who was involved with, involved with, and to what extent.
That's man. So Marky Mark was involved with that. So that means he's doing tests and whatnot. I guess he doesn't look very impressive for a guy on tests. I mean, you would think he'd be a little more in shape or bigger or something.
Well, haven't there been some accusations thrown at him very recently about the use of steroids?
But he doesn't even look as good as I did when I was natural at my best, you know? Like, I kind of like would expect him to look at least that good. I mean, look at The Rock. The Rock looks amazing, but
Well,
obviously he's on
you and,
stuff.
you and I both know it doesn't matter what you're taking. You still gotta do something
Yeah,
to elicit. You gotta do the right things to elicit a response.
I know, I know. I
So,
just,
how many guys have you seen in the gym that
oh,
they're fine and they still look like crap?
too many, too many.
Yeah. So,
I,
but waiting to see what happens with this, how it unfolds. It's gonna be
yeah,
interesting.
that's gonna be interesting, man.
I and from what I heard, Flex made some sort of response to him. I don't know whether he actually texted him or he said something on his Instagram, and it wasn't so. It was directed towards this guy, and he wasn't very happy with him putting his name out there, to say the least, which I can imagine. So I'm really interested to see how this thing unfolds.
Right, there's a beef between Mark Wahlberg and Flex, right?
No, no, I mean with this guy that went to jail and just got out.
Oh, him.
That
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Flex knows his name was put out there now, and that he had responded to it. And I'm not sure whether the response was directly to this person or he made some sort of statement on his social media. But he wasn't very. I had to go back and listen to the podcast again, but he wasn't very happy with his name being uh, thrown out there.
I bet.
So it's interesting. I
Well,
mean, I don't know.
you do fishy stuff, man. You're taking a risk. If you get caught up,
Yeah.
you know.
Hey, did you happen to see that video I just put up? Uh, I ti- I titled it "Monkey See, Monkey Do: Stupid Things People Do in the Gym."
I saw the video. Yeah, I haven't had time to watch that yet, but
Yeah, I mean, you've seen some pretty. I can imagine you've seen some pretty stupid things, if not dangerous.
oh yeah, yeah. I've seen plenty of dumb things. I mean, I haven't stopped anything I've ever been doing lately because I'm too focused on what I'm doing. But like, if I see someone doing something stupid, I don't even bother to correct anyone anymore. Like I used to care a little more, but unless it's like they're about to drop 4 plates on their back doing squats and they had no business doing it.
Do you ever wonder where they get the ideas for some of these things?
No, you know
Well,
it's
I
I
think there's a few different kinds of people that do that. First, I think sometimes you got the innocent person who just happen. You, there's always some asshole who concoct some crazy thing in their head and they go into the gym and do it.
yeah
But then you got the innocent person that really doesn't know much, that just wants to go join the gym and try to get themselves in shape. They're not getting any guidance from anybody, and they go into the gym and like I said, it's innocent. They don't know any better, and they see this person doing this thing, and it seems interesting, and they mimic it. Next thing you know, that they're doing it,
I've seen
and
people copy what I'm doing before. So
so I think in some cases you got these people that are innocently naive, and they see somebody else doing it in the gym, they think that it's something to do. I mean, I guarantee you, you take we can do an experiment. Go into a gym, think of something really stupid to do. Just make sure you don't hurt yourself doing it. Do it a few, do it a few times in a gym. If you go to one of the regular commercial gyms, we got the average Joe going in there, not any hardcore place. You go in there, you do it a few weeks in a row. Next thing you know, you're going to be seeing more and more people doing that same stupid, idiotic thing that you just made up in your head.
You know, speaking of which, have you seen that dumbass who goes to the gyms and he uses a fucking bench or he uses a fucking treadmill or a stationary bike and he does like pull-ups with it, or you know, he attaches it to his waist with a chain belt and he'll do like all this crazy shit. But he grabs machines and he does that attached to his body. And it's just the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. And this guy is popular online.
Well, people go for that stupid, idiotic stuff. Some of the most idiotic things you see on video get a tremendous amount hits. That show I never watched it, but I think it got pretty good ratings. You said that show Jackass.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it got good ratings.
Are you talking
People
about their
seem
latest movie?
it was a series. They used to have they had a series Jackass,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think it got yeah,
So
and
they
I
used to
think it
have,
got
yeah, they back in the day they had their actual show, their TV show, the series, several seasons, and then they after that they started just coming out with movies, and they just came out with a movie just recently.
but their series were I think they were getting good ratings.
Yeah, they
People like
were.
just drawn to that.
Yeah, and people started doing it themselves.
Back to the things they do in the gym. It bothers me even more. If I see somebody that seems like they that I don't think is a jerk, it's just innocently uh, fell into the trap of doing something stupid because they saw somebody do and they thought it was, they legitimately thought it was something. I'll try to help them. But then you got these, I don't know what you think about it, but trainers, these personal trainers,
Uh
being certified does by no means make you qualified.
huh.
If,
Yeah,
if, you, if you have licensed practitioners that are in the medical field, and you still and their what's required of them is a much higher level than what's required to become a personal trainer, and you still have quacks there, very incompetent doctors. You have a lot of. I personally think you have a lot of incompetent personal trainers, and I see a lot of these guys. Well, my training is at home these days, but I remember seeing a lot of them that are incompetent to say the least. Some of
yeah,
them are doing dangerous things, risking injury with the clients, and and they're the cause of a lot of this also. Because if you're a new
uh-oh. Looks like we lost Michael for a bit. Looks like he should come back on, hopefully. But yeah, stupid things in the gym. I think some of the, oh,
all right, we got him back.
there he
All right,
is.
I got your voice, I got your image again.
Okay.
Right. Now you got that innocent person that just joined the gym, really wants to get themselves in shape and feel better, and they're not just seeing anybody in the gym do this ridiculous thing or potentially dangerous. They're seeing seeing a personal trainer in the gym doing it with their clients. So hey, it's not just any Joe in the gym. It's a personal trainer that's doing it with the clients. So it must be something good to do. And they're responsible for a lot. You have a lot of personal trainers. They kind of come a dime a dozen, and uh, the average gym has quite a few on hand, and a lot of people tend to go for them. And uh, it's misleading the people to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I've been working out for about 30 years now, and I've got a sports med certificate, through the state of California, and I've done various other things like uh, educational wise. And I think it's a very big responsibility when you decide to train somebody I mean, bigger than people really stop and think about. Their health is in your hands, you know. And like you said, like I noticed trainers doing not paying attention really. The thing I noticed the most is that when you have a trainer watching you and your form, they should at least be checking to see if you look like even from left to your right side, no matter what you're doing. And I'm a people watcher, and you watch people's posture. You know, sometimes someone's shoulders dipping just a little bit. They're doing shrugs, you know, but it's crooked. You know, like you when you have like a problem with your posture, it's on you to know that and to try to correct it, stand up straight. You know, and like I've seen, you know, people doing shoulder laterals and one elbow's dipping a lot more than the other, or someone's doing squats and their foot placement is off from their left to their right, like one toe's forward, one's pointed that way. I mean, there's all kinds of things I notice where people's joints aren't mimicking their left and right sides, or the form altogether is not correct. You know, if everyone folds up differently when it comes to a squat because everyone's torso and leg length is different, you know, and you got to know where to place.
Also, the foot positions. They tell you this foot position, have foot position. What I tell a person is get into basically a natural standing position.
Yeah.
And that's the position you should be squatting from.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
That's we're saying we're all built differently.
You know what tore up my knees, man? And I appreciate the guy. I won't say his name but he, you know, he was telling me how to do squats. He's very old school. I mean, the guy's in his 70s. He's one of the best in the world, actually. But he said, you know, squat, you know, with your feet together and toes pointed out with the pizza slice, and then stand up wider and do this and do that and do this. And I'm like, I've done all that. And it, you know, he says supposedly it's to hit different parts of your quads or whatever, which if you read Doug Brignoli's book, that doesn't do hardly anything except fuck up your joints.
I mean, I used to think like that, but I realized these movements should basically when you're doing the exercises, the way your body's moving should be basically mimicking natural movements that we do.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, long story, you know, I was having knee pains and stuff and could never figure out why. And then eventually I just, you know, decided to just do what was comfortable every time. Fuck all those different angles and different this and that's. I'm just going to do my power stance that I did in football, and I'm a squat like that. And then when I started doing that, no more knee pains. My fucking legs look the best they've ever looked in my life. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing.
I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second. Chuck, can you move? I think it would be to your left slightly.
That way?
Yeah. Now we got. I still saw your whole face, but I got you back more in the center again. Yeah, I mean, I mean, there's some basic things about the exercise that we're supposed to follow, whether it's you, me, or anybody else. But it's your bench press and my bench press is not going to look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Unless we just happen to be built exactly the same way, structure-wise, then it's not going to look exactly the same.
No, yeah. It took me so many years to find out what worked for my body. And thank God I figured it out before I destroyed my shoulders, you know. But
going back to these trainers, you know, back when I was competing, I worked with training a number of people in my gym, which actually came about solely by accident. A girl I knew, a friend of mine, no relationship, sexual relationship or anything. We were just friends. She wanted to get in shape. She asked me if I can train with her. I always went back to the gym in the evening, do my cardio. So go back a little earlier. I train her a few nights a week. And then we do cardio together on the nights that she was working out. And that was it. People would see me working with her, and she got results. She got results. And then one person approaches me. This actually almost led me to getting kicked out of the gym. I ended up picking up about 6 or 7 people I started working with. Probably more I could have gotten, but I had a full-time job. My intention wasn't to be training. I just happened to have a knack. I did good. I got good. I understood nutrition a bit. I understood exercise. Uh, I have a way with teaching. I've always taught in one form or another. I taught martial arts for many years. I lived in a dojo for 2 years, and I taught martial arts. So I've taught in one form or another. And so people started asking me to train them. Out of the 67 people that I was training, I think it was 4 of them came from the head trainer in that gym. They worked out with him. And needless to
Stealing
say,
clients.
I'm leading into a story about him. Needless to say, they really weren't getting results, and they saw what was happening. One of them had just signed up and did 2 workouts with the guy, and he had a bad feeling about him, and saw me and a girl I was working with, and he approached me, and he had just signed up. He paid up a lot of money up front. Uh, they weren't getting results, and I'm starting to train them. Uh, but almost got me kicked out. Eventually, got back to the owner of the gym, and I had to work something out with a friend of mine who had a private gym. But needless to say, they all started. These people started coming to me. This guy had 6 or 7 different certifications. He was he was coaching people that were going for their certifications. All right, at all these freaking certifications, his clients were literally leaving him and coming to me. I'm watching one day, I'm back in the evening, party, stepper. You got to try to picture this. He's working with one of his women clients. She's doing walking lunges with a barbell across her shoulders. Not
Mhm,
bad, not big weight by any means.
mhm.
Probably sufficient weight what she should be doing. But as she steps forward, she comes down into the lunge. He's having her do twist, twist with
Ugh.
the bar across the shoulders.
Oh,
And
why?
I'm looking at her. I'm looking at her fucking knee. And I'm watching the way her knee is shifting. I'm saying, holy shit, that's gonna be a blown out freaking knee. Now, first off, working with a woman, uh, do as little oblique work as maybe a couple of sets, something, a little resistance, a couple of sets twice a week. And you don't want to do much work at all on a woman's obliques.
Sure.
It's a muscle, it's going to respond.
You don't want
And
the waist to grow.
so his idea is, let me just finish this up. His idea is, I guess, that he's going to combine these 2 exercises, these twists for her obliques, which you really don't have to be doing too much oblique work to begin with, while she's doing the lunges. But I'm like, a blown out knee in the works. Uh, I'm on a stepper another day, and she's up there, happens to be right next to me. I took a chance. Do you mind if I say something to you? And I told her what I watched. And I told her that I didn't think she should be doing that. And I told her why. I explained to her why. She continued working with him. But I noticed on another occasion down the line, I could see, I'm watching the 2 of them together. He's trying to get her to do that. And I can see by the body response, she's like, no, I'm not doing that. She did the lunges, but she wouldn't do she remember, at least she wasn't as smart as she should have been. She should have dropped him, but she was smart enough to understand what I was explaining to her. And now
Right.
you this guy that's 6 or 7 certifications who's preparing people to take their certification, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, man. I'm not surprised to hear that. I've seen so many dumb things by quote unquote smart people. You know, that reminds me, I got a great story for you. Um, so I used to go to this gym in the Bay Area, and I remember the name of the leg press was Star Trek, I believe. Star Trek, I think that, or Track, something like that. And it's a mediocre brand. You see it in a lot of gyms. And I would rate it like a 6 or a 7 out of 10, just overall quality or how well it applies to your body. But anyways, they had this leg press with just a single load bearing thing, and the seat adjuster was like, you could
But
just
you didn't load weights on both sides. It was like down the center. You're saying?
no, it stuck out on the sides, but it was just a single bar. You know, some of them have two.
Oh, okay.
So people naturally had to overload the sled all the time. But the backrest, I'll explain, it was one of those ones that just had like a kind of like a loose latch. You just lift it up, and then it just slack, it just like sits in place on this, and it had this little stub of a bar as the different settings for the backrest. I'm sure you've seen it before.
Oh.
It was a very lackluster bar. There was no extra support, no triangular structure to it. It was just a bar welded to the fucking thing. And it was at an angle too. So over time, that bar keeps getting stressed out because people keep overloading the sled.
Oh.
and uh, and I mean, people would load 45s on top of it. People would sit on top of those. Fucking stupid fucking kids, you know, doing their thing. And then one day, I was like probably 35, 40 feet away doing something near the dumbbells. And all of a sudden, I heard a loud crash. And
Oh.
it was a machine crash of like metal clacking, weights dropping. And the kid was fucking just screaming at the top of his lungs. A couple people around him started screaming and like yelling, and it got really loud. And everyone ran over there. I ran over there, and the kid, the sled, I guess it came crashing down because the backrest failed, and that went to the ground. So he went back that way. But as that happened, the sled came down, and it took the skin off of his shins. And I saw, all I saw was red and white, and it was all the way up to his kneecaps. Like I, I don't know that any more about that. Like, is how bad it was. But
I have a similar story to that. Somebody was, I don't know where I heard it, but I heard it still. Holy shit!
yeah, man, it was disgusting. I mean, there was blood everywhere. Ambulance came pretty quick, took him out on a stretcher. They put like all kinds of gauze and like blankets and stuff over his legs, and it was, they had it all taped off. And
Well, did you? They showed it, the clip a number, maybe a month or so ago, on RX Muscle. And John originally sent it today for somebody from Mexico that he knows, sent it to him. A woman who got killed in the gym down there doing spots. Excuse me, in the Smith machine.
no,
She basically got uh, decapitated.
oh my god,
Uh, she had now, according to what John was saying, there was a guy in the video, when you're watching the video, it was right off to the left of her. Was supposed to be her trainer. I can't imagine this woman trying to, even though it was a Smith machine, it wasn't free squat. She had at least 4 plates on each side.
oh, it's a lot of weight.
That's a lot of weight. It might have been 5, but it was definitely at least 4 plates on each side. That's, I don't see her doing that on her own. Like I said, according to what John said, the guy that sent him the video informed him that that was her trainer.
What?
And she's over there to do the squats, and the bench was, she was standing, her legs were slightly open, and the bench was between her legs, but it wasn't sticking out too far in front of her. Can you kind of like picture what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how she got, it's not, if you have to move a couple inches, move the weight a couple inches up to unhook it from the safety supports, even though it's a lot of weight, it's not that hard just to unlock it. You know what I'm saying? Unhook it.
Uh-huh.
You see these guys that load freaking 900 pounds on a bar and move it 2 inches. They move it off the supports and back down. Off. So it's not. It's not. It's possible for her to do that, but it was definitely way too much. As soon as she got it unhooked, the weight pulled her down, and try to picture the bars behind her neck, or resting her shoulders behind her neck, goes down, her torso lands on the bench, and her
Oh.
head's like hanging over the bench, and the bars behind her neck.
Oh my God.
I don't know. When I said decapitated, her head wasn't literally ripped off, but her neck was snapped nonetheless.
Wow.
Now, this is supposed to be, yeah, I know it's Mexico, but it's still, it could happen here also, but you got all these freaking incompetent people that are training people, doing the most, and a lot of times it's just stupid and a waste of time and a waste of a person's money, whoever's paying them. But in some cases, it's a little counterproductive. In other cases, it's potentially dangerous. Or in this woman's case, it was fatal.
That's insane, man. Hey, that reminds me. It's coming back to me now. It's all the stuff I've seen. I used to work at a 24-hour fitness when I was in my teens, and I remember this lady. She was like walking across the treadmills looking for her keys and the cup holders, and she walked across a running treadmill because someone got off of it to get a drink of water.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and she ate shit, man. She stepped on that while I was going, and I heard like just a loud crash and like falling of a body, and you could picture what happened, but someone just walking horizontally across the treadmills, and one of them is going. So she had like blood on her head and on her elbows and stuff, and hair was all fucked up, and the fucking treadmill spit her into the wall behind her, and she was trying to say she was going to sue us and stuff, and she never did. But that was one thing I saw where someone got severely injured, and I mean, someone could die from that. You could break your neck, or something. She was an old lady. She was like
I mean,
50 or 60.
like I said, I wasn't a certified trainer. I just ended up by accident. I started training people, and oh, by the way, everybody that I worked with got results. You followed my instructions, you got results. Uh, but I lost my train. That's great. I just lost my train of thought. Oh, what I was going to ask was, are you certified as a trainer?
Nah.
Do you know anybody? I want to know, what do they? At least with a doctor, you go to medical school, then you have the internship where you're working hands on with doctors. So you're getting practical experience. What is, as far as I know, you get a course, you study what's in the course, you put the right answers down, and bada bing, bada boom, you're certified.
Yeah, I mean, I got my sports med certificate. It's not the same, but between that and all my bodybuilding stuff, like I don't really care. I feel like I could get that without even studying for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. My point is, what I was trying to make, that people see an easy way to make money. Personal training It's a lot bigger than it was years ago when I was training. And like I said, it's basically you got you study the books for the course for these books for this organization, and you memorize what's in the books, and you put the right answers down on the test, and bada boom, you're certified. But by no means does that make you qualified.
Do you know off the top of your head, is it multiple choice?
I want to talk. I want to find out exactly what they. Like I said, even with we have doctors that are incompetent.
Oh yeah.
That's why they have malpractice insurance. Got incompetent doctors, and they go through an internship where they're working hands on with doctors for a period of time through their internship. What is to get your certification? What do you? Like I said, as far as I know, you're putting the right answers down for the questions. And
Can a doctor can a doctor graduate with a C grade?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I would not want them to work on me.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But the point is, at least doctors go through internship. But I don't think it's nothing like that with a personal trainer. And it's obvious because I see these guys doing some crazy things.
What's a passing grade for the NASM certification crap? Is it 80%?
I really don't know. But my point being is that you got stupid things being done in the gym, starting by people that are just assholes making up something and somebody sees it and copies it. But quite often it's because you got an incompetent trainer.
You know what's
Things. So not only is he jeopardizing his client or her client, whether it's a male or female that's a trainer, these people who are, oh shit, that's a personal trainer having them do that. That must be something to do.
you know what's funny?
Yeah.
My buddy's girlfriend just got certified and she's like a personal trainer. And so he was ranting about it. He's like, yeah, she put me through this workout and da da da. And then he was talking about doing leg extensions. And he said that she said, okay, if you point your toes this way, and that way, you're going to hit different parts of your quads. And to pretend you're trying to kick through the roof, like fully extend your knee and tighten it as much as you can. And I was like, I mean, what?
I'll tell you this about foot position with the leg extension. Correct me tell me if you disagree.
Okay.
If you want to hit, you can do it two ways. One way of doing it, if some people do the leg extension, and as they're extending the leg, the toes are pointed forward.
Okay.
And what's happening? You're still working the quads. You're extending the leg. You're working the quads, but you're also transferring some of the work into the calf muscle. It's not a bad idea if you're doing calves right after your quads. If you do one or two sets like that, because you're starting to fire up your calves good. But if you extend the toes, you're taking some of the workload away from the quads, and you're transferring it over to the calves. The same thing with the leg curls. The leg curls, when you point the toes, you do the same thing. You transfer some of the workload. So if you pull, whether you're doing a leg curl or leg extension, if you pull the toes back, you're you're still using all your muscles in some form are coming into play, but you're taking more the workload is going back into the quads, and you're taking away some the workload that was otherwise put on the calves from extending the toes. You're taking some of that load away and bringing it back to the quads. Do I make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I know what you're talking about. And I want to go after we cover this. I want to talk about the leg curl and pointing your toes versus having them up. I want to talk about that too. So so we'll agree that that's pretty much the only two ways you want to do leg extensions. You don't want to be pointing your toes this way and that way. And she was saying to fully extend out, like when you let when you fully extend your knee out, you know that it does a slight twist to lock into place, right?
Okay, now you're teaching me something now.
Okay, so when you fully extend your knee, it does a slight twist. Your tibia and fibia move a little bit, and that locks your knee. When you do leg extensions, you don't want to go all the way. You want to go like 98%, 98%. And so I told him that. I told him about that. I told him if you're pointing your toes different ways, you're gonna put pressure on your knees on either side. But your quads are connected to your lower leg the same way no matter what. If you're gonna do this with your doing your leg extension, it doesn't matter. Your all your muscles are gonna work the same. You know, you might feel like you're putting more pressure on either side, and you may be doing a little bit, but you're just fucking your knees up. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
And
But what I was
I
saying, what I was saying with the extending of the toes, what's happening is reason why you're transferring because you're actually it's you're doing a calf leg a calf raise, but without being in that calf raise position. So that by extending the toes like that, it's the same as doing a calf raise. So you are you are activating the muscle
sure.
more. So then you're putting the extra stress added on by the quads extending the leg to work to do the exercise. So you're starting with your calves already flexed.
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So and
So
that's why so much of the workload is being transferred.
yeah, I know. Like when I do my leg extensions, I only do it one way because I never pointed my toes just instinctually. I just never really did that. I mean, I tried it a few times, I think, but um, I noticed. So like when I do leg curls, we can segue in that about pointing toes versus not. So like Jeff Schneider, he was one who told me, point your toes down, extend them down as you're doing your leg curls, and it hits your hammies in a different way. And when I did that, I found it was messing with like my ACL, like in my knee. And so I don't know why, for what reasons. Maybe it's just me, but like I had to stop doing that, and I can only do leg curls with my my toes completely towards my shins. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, you're you're activating more. Maybe because he says it's hitting the muscle in a different way because it's changing by flexing the foot, changing the way it works the muscle, but you're not working the muscle, I believe, to its fullest because you're letting another muscle group take over more of the workload than it should. Like it's like when you're doing your bench presses, you can't help your shoulders and triceps from assisting in a
Right.
movement. But there's certain things you don't want to do because you bring more shoulder and more tricep into the movement. But you want to keep them as much of the stress on the muscle you're focusing on working.
Yeah, and we can even talk about the bench press if you want to. I love talking about exercises and form. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Um, like I
Most
was
people,
saying,
most people do the bench press wrong. They're just too. That's why I had the caveman look. Those shoulders rolled forward.
yeah, yeah, and that's like what I used to do. I used to have a wider grip, and I would chicken wing it, but I would stop 2 inches above my chest. I would never touch it. And that's what I did for many years. And then eventually my shoulders just couldn't take it anymore. And I had to stop doing bench press for like 3 years or something. And I came back to
Well,
it.
I prefer dumbbell because even though you're not fixed like you are in a machine, you're still fixed to a degree. With the dumbbells, you can make sometimes just that ever so slight adjustment that you make that makes the difference of you being injured or not injured.
Right. Yeah. I mean, dumbbells is what I did for many years, and I got up to like repping the 160s. But with bench press, I came back to it. I brought my grip in closer. I brought my elbows in closer, and then I dug my feet into the ground and stuck my shoulders into the bench, and I turned it into more of a compound movement like it's known to be. And yeah, it's taking away a little from my chest, but and other parts of my body are coming into play, like my legs, my back, shoulders, arms. But it saved my shoulders because with that type of form and technique, it allows my shoulders to move the way they need to for bench press. And it's because I'm not basically when you do it the other way, you're trying to isolate is what someone's trying to do, and you don't want to isolate your chest on bench press being a compound movement because that's when you run into those shoulder problems.
Okay, I guess you might. It sounds like you might be opposed to what I was started doing, what I was doing with people. Basically, I started them off with a much lighter weight, with a very lightweight, because it might feel awkward, but you have the low back slightly arched, the chest pushed up a little bit. But I'm also trying to picture pulling the shoulders back.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
even when I press out, I'm still holding the shoulders back.
Yeah.
I don't let the shoulders move forward at all, which I find is uh, naturally using less weight. Doesn't mean the exercise can't be intense, but I can't use the same kind of weight I would use otherwise. But I found I'm hitting my chest better, and I don't lock out. That's what happens. People lock out, shoulders go forward, the shoulders come into the movement,
Yeah.
more the triceps. As you extend the arm more and more, the more and more the triceps become involved with the movement.
Exactly. Yeah. That's something
That's
I take out of my
basically
my
people do it. So if you, it's really awkward if you haven't done it and you try it, it feels really awkward. If you do it for a while, you get comfortable with it, and I find that it actually, at least I find that I get a better feel in the chest with it.
I bet you do because you're kind of isolating your chest there basically. You're stretching, getting all your range of movement out of there, and you're doing what you need to do. I
Uh,
just, and there's no doubt that works. It's probably safe too for most people. I've had so many problems trying things with a barbell and benching angles and stuff that the only thing that works for me is either decline or flat bench. But all I do is flat bench. That's it. And then I just do dumbbells and machine work. But I keep my grip one way because that's the only way it's never hurt my shoulders.
well, for a long time, for the longest time, I haven't done barbell with the pressing, whether it's the shoulder press or the bench press, simply for the fact, like I was saying before, with a dumbbell, you can make these ever so slight adjustments.
Yeah,
If I start doing barbell, excuse me, keep in mind, I'm a little older, a little more wear and tear also in the body, and it's painful to say the least, and I avoid myself a lot of unnecessary pain. I find I find it better. Like I said, even though you're not locked into a position like you are in the machine, you're still locked in to some degree.
absolutely. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
straight bar. as opposed to a dumbbell.
Sure. Yeah. The gym I'm at now, like the dumbbells, they only go up to 100, but he's working on getting a set that go up to 160. So usually after I've done bench, I'll come back to dumbbells, and dumbbells is where I can get the depth, and I can manipulate things more, like you're saying, like you got that freedom of the movement. So I get I get down really. I let my chest stretch all the way down, but I keep my elbows in like that. I see people try and do like this. That's when you run into problems. Like, keep it like this, and I can get down super, super low, and I come up, and then I touch like that.
Okay.
And that, gets like such a good squeeze out of your chest. And, I can do up to the 100-pound dumbbells for like 12 reps on that. And,
Well, while we were talking about the shoulders, one last thing I want to get into, and I want to try to get some cardio. And I'm also just fucking up because I've been working nonstop all these days with this injury, and so I'm not getting it. And I refuse to not do cardio. I will hold on to the handrails as tight as I need to and go as slow as I need to, but I got to make sure I still do something. Well,
yeah.
actually, I can say as slow as I need to. I go as fast as I can, even with the injury. So I'm just like basically all worn out. But we talk about the shoulders, shrugs. The
Okay. Yeah.
GP does shrugs, and a lot of them using heavy weights, so they're using their straps to hold on to the weight, and they got this heavy ass weight, and they're rolling
Oh,
the
Lord.
shoulder around, and I'm like, I don't know about what you think about this, but in my mind, I'm like, you are totally destroying your shoulders.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I agree with you, man. For shrugs, I'll use 30 to 40-pound dumbbells, and I'll stand up or I'll lean on the edge of a bench, and I just lean forward, and I just really just work on actually just contracting my traps. And I do like sets of 24, and
But tried not that rolling the shoulders around like that. You're just grinding down the shoulder joint.
yeah, no, I don't roll them, but I just focus on actually uh, contracting the traps, and I'll stand more upright if I want to do like more up on top, or if I want to do the trap like more on your back. And then I also do these rope pulls from above, and I focus on getting the because the trapezius goes down like half of your back in the middle, and
Yeah.
I think people only focus on the top part really. And
I tend to, I like to use the dumbbells leaning forwards ever so slightly
yeah,
and pulling up and backs ever so slightly.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't- I'm pulling, so I'm leaning forwards, I'm pulling up and back ever so slightly. I
yeah,
find that works well.
yeah, man. I back in the day, I would pick up some hundreds or some 120s and fucking just and now all I do is the 30s or the 40s. That's it. And my traps are gigantic. That's I don't need to be doing heavyweight with that. I do the 20 sets of 24.
The $64,000 question. Ready?
Uh-huh.
Shrugs, trap work. All right.
Uh-huh.
Shoulder day or back day?
Wait, say what now?
The traps. Shoulder day or back day?
Oh, back day.
Okay. How many people do you see doing it shoulder day?
Like 90% of everyone at least.
I try to explain to people why they should be doing it on the back day because, correct me if I'm wrong, the traps are part of the back muscles.
Yeah, they are. They're more a part of your back than your shoulders.
Well, they're actually not. Look at an anatomy chart. They're not part of the shoulders at all.
Right.
You can work. The traps get, no doubt about it. The traps get worked pretty good, when you're doing most of your shoulder work, you're doing your overhead presses, you're doing your lateral raises, your traps are coming into work to a degree.
Sure.
But uh, as far as anatomy goes, the traps are part of the back muscles.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're doing your shoulder day right, you can isolate pretty good. Like you should be doing heavy weights really, unless you're doing shoulder presses. Everything else to me is lightweight for shoulders, and it's high reps. Uh, the heaviest for reps I go is 12 reps on a shoulder day. Usually it's 16 to 30 reps, sometimes 50 sets of 50. But when you're in the lightweight zone, you're able to really isolate your shoulders and really, if you want, you could just tense your traps, get them tensed, and then go for just focus on your shoulders after that. Uh, or you can, depending what you're doing, you could relax your traps to a degree and just focus on your shoulders. But
I don't.
if you're doing
Yeah.
too much weight, you're gonna bring your traps, you're gonna bring your lats into play. You're gonna be swinging all kinds of
Well,
bullshit.
where I was reading it or heard it, but it was a while back, and they were talking about the shoulders, and they say that the delts actually respond much better to a moderate workload as opposed to some other groups might respond better to you want to work heavier. But shoulders seem to respond better to a moderate workload.
So you know what I do to accommodate that is typically my shoulder day will start out with I superset everything. So I start out with presses, and I'll either do the Larry Scott presses or I'll come down and do the like the Arnold presses, and I'll move up in weight every set, and the reps get smaller and smaller. But in between sets, I'm doing shoulder laterals, and then I come back and I'm doing presses again. And presses are like my heavy work. That's my compound stuff, and that's
Wasn't
like,
the Arnold press? Wasn't there another? Isn't there another name for it? But it became the Arnold press because he started doing it.
yeah, I don't remember what the other name was, but it's that one, and those are the two different shoulder presses I'll do. I only do shoulder press with dumbbells. I never ever ever will do shoulder press again with a barbell. every time I get shoulder impingement with a barbell. So,
But yeah,
but I
I,
superset throughout my shoulder workout with presses and lateral work, and then towards the end, I superset some lateral work with other lateral work. And I usually get in like 6 to 7 exercises for my shoulders pretty quick.
I think we covered a couple of good things today. You got to go. I'm gonna go back and watch it again.
Okay.
You know, watch the current after hours and listen to the whole story. It's a very, very interesting story, and I'm just curious to see what happens as far as Flex Wheel and Kevin Ravone, if there's any sort of backlash in the community because of this. Oh, and it was also, I think he threw out the name Ronnie Coleman also. Just to jump back now before we leave, he
Sure.
threw out the name Ronnie Coleman also. As he mentioned three big name bodybuilders: Kevin Levrone, Flex Wheel, and Ronnie Coleman, and
Wow.
quite a few others. So I think that was an interesting one we covered, and I want you to go back and check out the video. I hope we taught some people some things about the gym. I think my title on that video, Monkey See, Monkey Do, is a pretty good analogy. That's the right word to use of what's going on. It's basically what it is.
Sure.
Don't follow these stupid things that don't what might not realize is stupid at the time. Don't just follow and do something because you see somebody else in the gym doing it. Just because you see a personal trainer doing it with somebody doesn't mean you should be doing it. All I can say is be careful. You want to some final words before we?
Yeah, I like what you said. I like what you said earlier. What sums up your form? It should just be what feels natural, right?
Yeah.
That's a way to stay safe, everybody. And do what feels natural. Go through the movement. If it doesn't feel right, it's because you're not doing something right. Listen to your body. Don't watch what other people are doing. And then start light and work your way up. Don't throw 4 plates on a machine and go at it. You know, you need to start light. That's how I do it. Even at my level, I start light and I do sets of 50, sets of 30, and eventually I get to my heavy 12. 12 is heavy for me. That's what I do.
Marathon, not a sprint.
Right. And I've been training for 30 years. And I don't really have any injuries that hold me back right now. So just train smart, everybody.
You know what? I just realized we've got one of the most important things. If you're
So
watching this on Muscle Central, make sure you go over to Buffy the Iron Slayer. That's Chris's channel. Check out all his great content and make sure you subscribe over there. If you're watching this on Buffy the Iron Slayer, make sure you come over to my channel, Muscle Central. Check out all my content and make sure you subscribe over here. So you got that? You got to subscribe to both channels, okay? It's been fun. Hopefully, we'll be able to get together soon with Jeff and Josh again.
yeah, hopefully.
I'd like to have them both on us, which would be great. But until the next time, folks, I hope you enjoy everything. Chris, has been fun,
Definitely.
and we got another taping to do in a few more days.
Word. We'll do it.
Take care, folks.
All right. Later, everybody.